mistakes, few mistakes win. Play for make breaks, one comes always score. If it hurts, the game breaks, we'll get you, don't let up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the games after this win it is. Press you again, here for the first man. Can everybody keep it every 6 minutes? To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
I've said it from when I got here. The expectation, the standard is to play elite defense here, not just good defense. This is the home of Eric Berry, Al Wilson, Reggie White. The standard is to be elite.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Unbelievable place. Great university. Knoxville is unbelievable city, great people. The passion for football is even greater than I thought it would be. And man, Neyland Stadium, I said it, a couple of years ago, and I still think it's the best football experience for a college football fan or a player in the country.
Mark Stoops is 2-9 against his team, and to walk around this place before the game, I was disgusted. The smugness of those guys just walking around like, we're going to walk in here, we're going to kick your ass, and you can't do anything about it. And it made me sick. And you know what? They did it. They still did it. What the hell? Can we just beat this team? I know that Mark Stoops has done a lot of good things. This is his one really bad thing. The stupid stat about beating teams with a winning record and taking the next step and blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange colors, their stupid
I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none. Good Wednesday evening. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. What a heck of a start to the show, man. I feel like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to hit live, and then chaos hits. In the 2 minutes of the intro music, chaos hits. I've got 14 things going on, but we got a lot of stuff to jump into. I'm ready to talk. I've been wanting to talk. Actually, I talked for 4 hours last night. We didn't get canceled. We almost got canceled. I see you, Mrs. Cochet. We almost got canceled. We survived. We are alive. My name's Boogie Bentley, joined by Coach Rice. What's going on, Santa Claus? What's up?
Man, hey, it's like Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas. It's transfer portal season, y'all. It is transfer portal season. I'm fixing to be giving out gifts of the transfer portal. You feel me? I'm the new Santa Claus of the portal, miss.
It gives and it takes. It gives and it takes. Man, a lot of people, Man, Nelson, you and Nelson both. You guys keep me up to date. If I miss anything, I'm not going to miss anything. If I miss anything, y'all are going to make sure I'm up to date and know what's going on. Man, it's a lot. I told Nelson today we were talking about everything going on in the transfer portal, all the guys going in, all the guys coming out. Tennessee's got a ton of guys getting ready to be already on campus. Got a bunch of visits going on. Let me ask you a weird question. I saw some people on VolQuest talking about it. Do you think that Coach Hype kind of keeps things quiet? Like, you have to dig, scratch, and claw to see some of these offers. Some of these kids are tweeting them. Some of them are not. Vol-Fan for Life says, your internet sucks. I bet if you guys dropped enough super chats, we could fix Coach Rice's internet. But like,
my internet's messed up. I'm out.
You're pixelated. You're still here. We can hear you. That's what's important.
Crap.
That's what's important.
All right.
But how do you keep up with it? I mean, do you think it is more the Wild West this year than it was last year?
Oh yeah. I think without a doubt, there's guys that we've offered and guys that we don't even know that's been on campus. That we us as Vol fans would love to hear about. But I think that's just Coach Heupel's philosophy. He don't want everyone to know his business.
Yeah, that's a good thing too. You see a lot, and again, I saw this conversation on the General's quarters at VolQuest, kind of what brought it up. You see a lot once that first SEC offer comes in. Here comes the other SEC offers. They all start piling in. So it's been hard to track down some of this stuff, but I've got 14 pages of notes. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the SEC schedule reveal is happening live right now on ESPN. We'll talk about that. Coach Jay is going to be jumping on in just a second. He had some car trouble. Then he got behind a wreck. It wasn't meant to be, but he is going to be here tonight, and we're going to get into all of it. But first, we got some business to take care of, boys. I promised you guys almost a week ago, we were going to give away 2 free shirts. Been busy, man. Had a lot going on. The Jordan Seaton stream happened like that. Didn't get time to go and do the Google randomizer, so I'm going to announce it right now. The winners of the free merchandise are Fish and Beans. Although I should have cheated and lied and said it wasn't him because he said he was going to drop a $300 super chat last night, and he didn't. But Fish and Beans won, so I will allow it. And also Wade Rouse conveniently wins. That's a man with a Talkin VAWLS tattoo on his person. So I need both of you guys to reach out. Wade, I know you're on Facebook. You can hit me up there, Fish and Beans. You can email me at the channel email address or hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, somewhere like that. Let's run down the chat. Let's see who's hanging out. You guys were dropping insults, talking about me being late. Bob is here. What is up, Bob? Matt Mars is here. Says, while we're waiting for the show to start, don't forget to smash the like button. I would appreciate that. IC86 says, what about Georgia fans that served in our military? Well, I can appreciate their service and still, understand that they're awful, ugly, disgusting human beings. I mean, what if somebody served in our military and they committed murder? Like, I still would say that they're an ugly, disgusting human being, just like Georgia fans. So 86, that's a trick question, but I think I answered it with grace. David Collins is here. What's up, brother? Brody Bailey is in the house. Buck is here. Angry Titan is here. MG Way is here. Mrs. Coach J is here. Brad Burnett is in the house. Why would I get canceled, Brody says. Well, we had a good time playing NCAA football last night, and we played the wrong music, and the stream got struck down immediately. It's the first time I've ever been live that a stream just ended. Like, it was weird. I could see you guys in the chat, and I was like, why are they acting like I'm gone? I went to YouTube, dead. It was just gone. But we closed it down. We brought back another stream, had a good time. Jenny's in the house. What is up? Jenny, Lucas's Rad Dad Videos is here. We got a few door fees. We got 260 people watching live. Coach Rice, first door fee. I mean, he's on the show and still dropping $2 super chats. Says 2024 is going to be a great year for Tennessee Vol fans. Ricky D follows it up with a $2 super chat. Says, I'm riding with Coach Rice all the way through 2024. Vol fan in the Air Force, that's the type of military man that I like. Drops a $5 super chat. Says, Dorfy, looks like a tough October coming in 2024. I don't know that we're going to see September the 14th, Kent State. We can take a look at the schedule. We can open with this because that is going on right now live on ESPN. These dates are not updated, but you can see the schedule on the screen. Some of these are locked in. You're going to play Chattanooga on August the 31st. You're going to play NC State the following week on the 7th. Kent State. Those are 3 winnable games. I like. It's the start of the Nico era. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe the start of the Nico era is going to be in the Citrus Bowl, Coach. But I think playing Chattanooga first. NC State, I like that matchup. Kent State, get Nico's feet wet, get him comfortable, get rolling before Oklahoma comes to town, or we go on the road to play Oklahoma on the 21st.
Sounds like an early 800 yards passing for the season through the first 3 games. That's what it sounds like, Boogie.
When you look at this schedule, let's see, you got Alabama locked in. So are these dates, the only dates we need to see scheduled are Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt. So we know you've got Kent State on the 14th. You got at Oklahoma the following week. So we don't know what comes after that Oklahoma game. You got a couple of weeks there. You're going to have a bye week. You know, we kind of talked about this previously. When you look at the schedule, especially now, the last time we talked about this, man, we know more now than we knew then. And the fact that, you know, we were talking about, can we get, you know, what's the line? 1.5 offensive linemen back. Can we get 2 back, or is it less than 1.5? Are we getting 1 back? Now we're returning the whole offensive line. When you look at this schedule, obviously you're going to start off 3-0. That game on the road against Oklahoma is going to be tough. I do like the fact that you got the Gators and Alabama both coming back to Neyland. What do you think 2024 looks like with what we know right now?
You know, originally I said 10-2 with the losses being at Oklahoma and Georgia. I flip-flopped that. I have not really – Georgia's lost every single starting offensive lineman they had this year. Every single starting up, whether it be graduation or the transfer portal. They have they're going to have to flip the script on a whole new offensive line. So I'm chalking that up as a W. And then we're going to go 11-1, and we're going to be in the national playoffs, and then we're going to just see what happens from there.
I'm still dying from COVID, even though it's not an NCAA night. Y'all are gonna have to bear with me as I try to get through this freaking.
Me and Coach Jay got you.
I don't know if I have COVID or not, but it sure feels like it. The brain fog, man. I sat here and looked at my notes for 2 hours. Vol fan for life for 2 says, "What's up, Boogie and Coach Rice?" GBO, appreciate that super chat, brother. Timothy McGee for 10. If UT wasn't a bunch of wussies, they would have played Army, Navy, and Air Force, and as always, more timing routes, less option routes. And is Cooper Mays back? Coach Jay's in the house. Nothing has been made official on Cooper Mays, but Austin Price has all but said Cooper Mays and Spraggins both coming back without saying they're coming back. I think you're returning your entire offensive line. What's up, Coach? I'm glad you could join us, my friend. Oh, is he on that internet too?
He's on.
Yeah, it was extremely. Yeah, no, it's probably because my computer's still booting up. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Dude, I don't know what this day was, man. My car battery kaputted out of nowhere for no reason. There were a semi truck flipped over in the middle of the freeway after it put me running late, and then I had a cop that completely broke traffic in front of me. Had to split off, run the veer. Coach Rice had to cut back on him, man, and flip through the route. And then I get here, I pop open the old laptop, and my laptop didn't remember my Wi-Fi. Couldn't even see it anywhere, nothing. I don't know what it was, but I think we're functioning all right now. So happy to be here and happy to be in the house and talking ball football as always, family.
Let me get another super chat real quick. Amber for 5. Appreciate that super chat. Amber says, "Hey, Boogie and Coach Rice." See, you don't even get a hello, Coach Jay, when you roll in here late. Says, so excited for the 2024 season. None of the portal movements have me concerned. We needed to make room for our young talent. I think that's spot on. I think you're. I've been saying the words over and over and over, but you're trimming the fat. You're cutting the fat, man. And you know. This is somebody else's words, and I just stole it. I do that a lot. I steal things that Coach Jay says and make it my own. I steal from Eric Kane. Every time he does Locked on Vols, I make it my own. I just steal what you guys say, and then I come on the internet and act like an idiot. And for some reason, we have almost 25,000 subscribers around here. But somebody in the chat made the comment of, we booed these guys all year long. Not booed. We complained. We griped. We talked about how bad the secondary was all year long. Now they all hit the portal. And now Coach Rice, we're complaining because they're leaving.
Well, I mean, it's a little hypocritical to me. I mean, think about the complaints that we heard all season. from game one to game, and we're still hearing them going into the bowl game. So that's just the coaches. It's not like they sitting out here and listening to us. That's not what they're doing. They're trying to make this team a national championship team, and they think the best way to do this is improve the secondary, get faster, get quicker, get more physical, and that's what they're trying to do. And with the guys that we're identifying, they're identifying playmakers, and that's what us as Tennessee fans should trust this defense. I mean, trust Coach Banks, trust Coach Heupel, and let them do their job. That's what they get paid to do, and I think we're going to get good product on the field come 2024.
Angry Titan says in the chat, we replace him with Villanova DBs. Don't worry, stay tuned. That video that I dropped this morning, pretty big target that was confirmed, received a scholarship offer from Tennessee and is on a visit. That came out 3 minutes after my video. Sometimes the world is against you, like it was against Coach Jay earlier today. So we're looking at the schedule for 2024, Coach. Right now they're doing the SEC schedule reveal for the remaining games. Tennessee, we're still waiting to see when they play Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt as they iron out the schedule. I saw that somebody, was it Buck in the chat, said that Tennessee got a bye week before the Florida game and before the Georgia game. Is that possible?
I think we did get 2 byes, though, in advantageous spots. I think I remember reading something like that as well. I guess y'all could correct me in the chat if I'm wrong.
Well, the way the schedule, there's 5 weeks in November next year.
Right.
So that's why there's 2. We're getting each SEC team, I think, is getting 2 byes.
Gotcha.
So if you got them placed before the Florida game and before the Georgia game, that's pretty good. That works out pretty well for Tennessee. Because, again, we were talking right before you jumped on here, Coach. Nico, the Nico era begins, and you're going to play Chattanooga, NC State, and Kent State. You got 3 weeks for the kid to get dialed up, tuned up, and ready to go on the road to play Oklahoma. That's going to be an electric environment. Look, they're going to welcome Coach Heupel back to Oklahoma with some piss and vinegar. That fan base is going to be ready to go for that game. But then you follow that up with a bye week prior to Florida, a bye week prior to Georgia. What do you think this 2024? What's your way too early, 8 months in advance predictions?
Just going down the line. I think we smoked Chattanooga, right? NC State, that's a sneaky game right there. You know, depending on how their quarterback position shakes out, they have a lot of talent across that team. I don't know if y'all have gotten much chance to watch NC State this year, but they've got some pretty good talent across that offense, and they can put points up in a hurry. So we'll see. I see someone saying they got Grayson McCall for next year. So we'll see how they progress on the line. But I think that's a sneaky game. I think Nico pulls it out, though. We'll see what kind of shape our secondary is in. But I do think he pulls it out. But I think it's on the tighter side. I think it's a little bit of a shootout, maybe. Hopefully our defense is humming, but we'll see. At Oklahoma, I'm predicting that as a win. I think it's going to truly be Nico's coming out party will be that Oklahoma game. I think he'll have strong performances in the first 3 games, but I think he'll really pop. I think everyone will be calling out that first tough, really, arduous road game at Oklahoma. And I think Nico goes out and wins that game just fine. I think he blows the doors off Florida next year. You heard it here from Coach Jay first. A 21-point or higher victory against the Gators next year out of Nico in Knoxville. Moving down the line to the Alabama game, we'll see. Alabama is going to be in a really interesting spot with their quarterback next year. But let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and say, everything falls into place and they have some young quarterback come in and play really well. Not going to matter. Nico's going to beat their chump butts too, so that's perfectly fine. On the road to Georgia, Georgia's quarterback coming back next year. We know, guys.
Yes, should be.
Yes. Got paid NIL style.
I hate to cop out, but I'm going to cop out, and I'm going to say I'm going to hold that prediction till after NIL, the transfer portal, and everything shakes out. UTEP's a win. Arkansas's a win. Kentucky's a win, of course. Mississippi State's a win. Vanderbilt's a win. I honestly think two losses is the floor and undefeated is the ceiling.
Yeah, I got a correct update here. Buck's looking at the schedule on the screen. This is not real time. Real time is on ESPN right now. VolQuest is tracking it. So the bye week, Tennessee is going to play the top three are right: Chattanooga, NC State, Kent State, and then at Oklahoma. Then they have a bye week before they go on the road to play Arkansas. Then they will play Florida at home, Alabama at home. After that, we're still waiting on that schedule to come out. So one of the bye weeks is going to be before Arkansas. So that's
that Florida Bama, back-to-back home. I think that sets up beautifully for Tennessee. And Florida, we'll see how they come out of this NIL thing. But man, it's been all but a mass exodus there. We'll see how many of their players land back and who they land with. I know Graham Mertz has signed on for another year, but he's a completely different quarterback on the road than he is at the Swamp. And I fully expect Nico to eat in that game. Like I said, I think the Vols take Florida apart this coming season.
Chris says the other bye week is after Alabama, week 9.
Yeah, I'd take that. I mean, I think that's perfect time in 4 weeks. You got 4 games by, 4 weeks by. So I like that. So, but what I was saying today on 3 recruits, hey, if Florida loses DJ Lagway, which he's going to visit Texas A&M, and they lose him, hey, they're going to lose. I fully expect if they lose him, they're going to fall to like dungeon style in the recruiting rankings. I mean, because they're saying if they lose him, what's his name, the D lineman, what's his name? His name's left me, but they're saying he'll probably decommit and go to either Florida State or Miami.
Yeah.
Do we want Billy Napier to fail though? I almost want him to, like, every time that we had a better football team than Florida, like, we blew it, right? Butch Jones more times than not should have beat Florida. I think Josh Heupel, I think we got a better coaching staff. I think we have better talent. That's why Tennessee was favored by a touchdown. That's why that game pissed us off so much, right? That game, Missouri, it was better than everybody thought. Georgia was Georgia. That freaking Florida game, man, it still stings. It still stings.
Yeah, that was a very winnable game. And we shot a turd, like it was exactly what I said it was. After we shot a turd, we couldn't keep contained. It seemed like we didn't get better against play action last year at times. I expect that to change. Play action is kind of predicated on picking on linebackers and particularly young linebackers that were in that Florida game. I don't think that's going to happen again. I think you're going to see a much matured linebacking core out of Tennessee this year, a much faster and matured linebacking core out of Tennessee this year. So I don't see them beating us with the same, 4 or 5 plays. And, the other thing they like to do, and a lot of teams like to do, is attack those edges against us, the flats, right? The little curl routes, the comebacks. Florida definitely hurt us with that. I think the secondary is going to run a lot tighter there. I think one of the reasons you've probably seen a max exodus from this secondary, Coach Jay has a sneaking suspicion that this staff likes their young secondary, that they are partial to these young players. I think Ricky Gibson is ready and was the best option in the secondary, maybe for the last 4 weeks of the season. So I got a sneaking suspicion you're going to see a lot tighter coverage out of those corners, and we'll see how the safety position shakes out, certainly, maybe with some young talent even maybe pushing up.
I saw somebody in the chat earlier put Andre Turrentine, gold jacket, green jacket. I never know how to pronounce his name. I could see him stepping up and taking one of those safety positions.
Yeah.
For me, man, I was thinking, okay, Wesley Walker, right? Let some of these young guys come in and take over. Wesley Walker, Andre Turrentine. Do you guys think there's any chance? I know there's a bunch of super chats. I'm going to get to them in just a second, but just while the conversation's flowing, I want to roll with it. Any chance Gabe Judy-Lally comes back? Because one of the questions that everybody's asking, and I'm full transparency, never crossed my mind when I'm rattling off all the DBs that entered the portal. because I'm like Coach Jay. I think they trust the young guys. I think we're going to add some guys in the portal. I think they're looking to upgrade a secondary that we all criticized all year long. They're looking to improve and upgrade that secondary. But, boys, we got a bowl game coming up right around the corner. Gabe Judy-Lally is expected to play in that game. I know VolQuest is saying likely not back. You think there's no chance, Coach Rice? I saw you shaking your head. No chance. Nate Bailey in the chat says, hope not. I think Gabe Judy-Lally would be a starting cornerback opposite of Ricky Gibson next year if he came back.
I personally don't think he's coming back. I mean, just from everything I've seen, and I think the coaching staff is really wanting to get younger and faster and more physical. I'm not saying Gabe Judy-Lally couldn't do that. I just think I saw someone say earlier, F it, let's scrap this and move on and start over. So I honestly think that's what they're going to do with the young guys we got and identifying a couple, playmakers in the portal. And I honestly think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. And it stop me if I'm wrong, Boogie, but it seems like a lot of the talk is that Willie Martinez is going to be back right now, right?
Yeah. That's what VolQuest has been saying it for over a week.
So, listen, a lot good coaches, I'm sure Coach Rice does this. I know I do it. You're going to go back and look at your season, right? And you're going to kind of grade yourself and coach yourself. And when you go back and really dive into that, and you've got a bunch of defense analysts, position analysis, all that good stuff, and Heupel's able to be in those rooms and be present for those talks. It wasn't up to par. And so a finger is going to get pointed, right? And it's going to get pointed at one or two places, either at personnel or at coaching. And it seems to me by this transfer portal and everything we're hearing on Mr. Martinez, that the coaching staff, Heupel and all them truly feel like it was a player issue and not a coaching issue. They feel like they had the right play on, the right call on, and they either couldn't execute or didn't have the talent or the ability to do what they wanted to do scheme-wise.
So let's go on record. Let's all say
speed.
Let's say where we're at on this. Do we think it was a coaching problem or do we think it was a personnel problem? Tim Banks, Willie Martinez, this coaching staff, they've been here for 3 years now. But I go back to what Coach Jay said earlier. I think they like those young corners. I think they like Christian Conyer, Jordan Matthews, Ricky Gibson, John Slaughter, right? Where does he ultimately end up? I'm hearing so much rumblings about Boo Carter in that star position. Like we've been saying it on this channel, I think Coach Jay going back to the film breakdown that we did on Boo ages ago. Coach Jay's throwing it out there. He would probably thrive in that star position. So is it personnel, Coach Rice, or is it coaches? I'm willing to go out on a limb and say it's personnel and give them a little bit more time.
I'm gonna say 90% personnel, 10% coaching. A little bit of it, because there's a couple things that even as a coach you got to realize, hey, maybe I didn't put them in the best place to succeed. Well, but a lot of it, it goes to the athleticism in the secondary, in which we've talked about for all year. We got to get more athletic back there.
I've got to hit Super Chats. We got a bunch piled up. We appreciate you guys being very generous tonight. We got 400 people watching live. Look, we're going to be live again next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is early signing day. So I'm doing a live stream at 7 o'clock that night. I had this dream, this vision of doing this big all-day live stream, tracking down the recruits as they come in. It's just not as exciting as it used to be. The old February signing days were war room excitement. You had to sit down. You had 14 monitors going. You're watching the TV. It's just not like that anymore. But we'll do a live stream at 7 o'clock that night. I say we. I just committed both these guys. They're like, well, Boogie, I've not even looked at my calendar.
I'll be there.
We'll recap the entire signing day next Wednesday at 7. The following Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Guess what? Time to get ready for that bowl game. So we'll be live that Wednesday as well. I'm going to try to keep some more live streams coming your way throughout the offseason. But let me catch up with you guys. Evan counts for 2. Says we get 2 bye weeks. Yes, sir. Timothy McGee for 5. Says laugh out loud. Fashionably late as always. LOL joking. Coach Jay. See, they were fussing at me for going late. They didn't realize that I was really just trying to buy Coach Jay some time. Thank you, Timothy, for the super chat. Jeff Puckett for $5 says to the glad Boogie didn't get blackballed. Oh, To the glad Boogie didn't get blackballed fund. Dude, do you know the panic that hit my face when we got kicked off the air last night? I was like, I'm not going to be able to stream for like a month. Because
Oh, it was bad.
I think the second time you get hit, I think it might be 90 days. I've got hit once, but that one's fell off. So I don't know if when they fall off, if it resets you and the next strike is really the first strike, or if it's 3 strikes and you're out, and the second one, I would have been done for 90 days. But here we are. We're hanging out. It's all good. Thank you, Jeff, for your concern. Captain Jack Sparrow for 5. Hey, Boog, Coach Rice, and Jay. First ever door fee. Love listening and de-stressing while running 911 calls. Boogie, your mic is too low. Is it? Is it too low? I can turn it up.
Sound fine to me.
I can turn it up. It could be because I'm dying of COVID. Is that better? I feel like I'm going to blow your all's eardrums out if I turn it up too loud. I scream. I get excited. Everybody in the house is like, good Lord, have mercy. Timothy McGee for 2 says, but Coach R, Coach Rice. See, I don't say Coach R. It's Coach Rice. Coach R, Coach J, our fan complaining about wins. I don't know what that's in regards to. Coach Rice, Coach J, our fans complaining about wins. We complain about everything. That's all I can say, Timothy. Shot by Andrew for 2 says, what's up, guys? What's up, Andrew? Good to see you in the chat, my friend. Evan Counts for 2 says, about time Georgia has to play a real schedule.
Amen.
Jenny for 2 says, did anyone else see Boo's live video on Instagram? Don't worry, Jenny, that's coming up next. That's going to be the next topic. Coach J, have you seen it?
Nope.
Have you seen? Oh, we'll get into it. We'll get into the drama of high school kids. MG Wade for 2. Anybody else going to be at the Citrus Bowl? I do know that Jenny's going. I've seen that. I don't know if anybody else is going. Walter Davis for $20. That ain't cheap. That's the Orange Boy. We brought the clip back for the offseason. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Appreciate that, Walter Davis. $20, man. $20 is not cheap, and he doesn't even say anything. He's just, here's a tip in the tip jar. Appreciate that. Brody says, what song was it? Was it Five Finger Death Punch? Is that?
Yeah,
what?
5 Finger Death Punch is what it
And
was.
DJ Boogie got shut down. It was such a great scheme and scam, right? Such a great scam to put money in my. I mean, it was a way that we could all interact together and have a great time. No more DJ Boogie. All right, we got 400 people watching. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We're going to continue to talk about the transfer portal coming up in just a second. Everybody on Twitter tagged me with this today. I'm trying to find it. I've got 85 tabs pulled up here. This one. Everybody tagged me in this today, man. Everybody wanted to talk about it. I was like, I'm not making a video about this, but I said enough of you guys want to talk about it. We'll talk about it. So John Campbell, no, I got it right that time. Screwed it up earlier when me and Coach Rice were talking about it. John Campbell goes live on Instagram, joined by Jordan Seaton. Well, who else jumps on? One Boo Carter. Who else? Tyler Barron, also wearing a Tennessee toboggan. So everybody wants to create this drama. Apparently, did you watch it, Coach Rice?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I didn't get. I was in the middle of getting ready for class, so I had to hop off of it.
The cliff notes that I got were that Boo Carter was basically mocking Jordan Seaton and saying that Colorado's not real football, that he needs to come to the SEC and play real football, still recruiting him to Tennessee. I just think it's interesting, but, it wasn't worth really making a video. I think it's high school kids being high school kids, right? They go through the recruiting process together. They've got relationships. John Campbell obviously has a relationship with Tyler Barron. He's got a relationship with Boo Carter. He was trying to recruit Jordan Seaton. I don't think there's anything to make of it, but Coach Jay, it's the first time you've seen this.
Yeah,
any thoughts?
Just without even seeing it?
Yeah, I'm not going to watch it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like high school crap, like you said. It kind of surprises me that the college kids are in there, but maybe they're trying to gang up on them a little. I think it's interesting that Tyler Barron's still showing up in his volunteer gear. I think that just kind of loans itself to what we've been saying, is that this is a business decision, not a heart decision for Tyler Barron. So I'm going to kind of die on that horse. I do feel that way about Tyler, and I hope it works out for him. I wish him the best, but yeah, me too, Walter. I would love to have Tyler Barron back. I think it'd be great. He'd be an awesome depth piece. It's just, once again, man, that money, he's got to succeed on the edge in order to get that money that he wants, because I don't think he can make it in the NFL as a defensive tackle. So with that said, I hope he lands somewhere well, and definitely not in an enemy's hands, and hope he tears up that edge position.
Everybody's yelling for me to play the video. I can't play the video. This is a screen capture. The video's gone. It was an Instagram live that's no longer there. I think it just boils down to high school kids being high school kids, like we said. I think that's all there is to it. But they have – look, this is my job. This is how I pay the bills. They got more people watching than I do right now. So maybe I'm not doing something right. But the bottom line is, I think it was Nikki that just said in the chat, it's a PR move. Look, these guys are graded on NIL value by how many followers they have on Instagram, on Twitter. That is cash money in their pocket. So if they get on here together and John Campbell's like, oh, I can get Jordan Seaton, guess what? Everybody's talking about this live stream. Everybody's going to Campbell's Instagram and following it. I don't even know what the kids say these days. The whiz chats and the who's that's and the whiz what's. I'm like, bro, I barely survived getting on Twitter and promoting the show. But the bottom line is they're making money by doing this. I think Jordan Seaton's locked in. I don't think he's flipping. There was a lot of question about it earlier. Listening to Austin Price talk about it on the radio this morning, he basically said, I don't think you go on undisputed with all Deion's buddies and make this big glorified commitment only to turn around 2 weeks later and flip and go elsewhere. Coach Rice, what do you think? I think he's going to Colorado, and I think it's a done deal.
I think Seaton's a done deal. The two things I love about it is Campbell and Boo Carter, especially Boo. I mean, that dude, I'm so ready for him to get on campus and, do his thing. That I'm telling you, that kid, I'm going to say it very lightly because I don't want to compare him to him yet, but Eric Berry is.
I knew that was coming. I knew that's what you were going to say.
I've said it already in Cotton.
Yeah, that dude is just going to be a stud, and part of me also thought about, why is Tyler Barron on there? Are you telling me there's a chance? So that's what I was sitting there thinking when I was kind of looking at it a little bit. So like y'all said, I think a lot of it was just PR stunt, NIL game / kids just fooling around. So Tyler Barron's freaking probably 23, so I wouldn't call him really a kid, but y'all know where I'm going with that. So
absolutely.
I would love to have Tyler Barron back, but I think Coach Jay hit the nail on the head. It's about business, man. Some people say it's about business, some people mean it's about business, and I don't think, man. I think the more you guys say it, and the more several people around me continue to say it's not about necessarily the money now. It's about being able to shine at that edge position. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up. I know Lane Kiffin was posting pictures on Twitter where he was in Knoxville. All the speculation is he was in town to recruit Tyler Barron. Does he go to Ole Miss, and does he get that edge position? I don't know. It's hard to blame these kids when they're trying to do what's best for them. And I know a lot of times we do because we bleed orange, right? And we want them to bleed orange the same way that we do. Sorry, Coach, I cut you off.
Oh, I was about to interrupt you, but I think I saw where Coach Tyler Barron was supposedly supposed to go on a visit to Missouri as well. And I'm telling you, of all two schools, I'd hate for him to go to Florida, Georgia, or Bama, but Ole Miss and freaking Lane Kiffin and in Missouri of all schools, go to Ohio State. Do your thing at Ohio State. Don't stay in the SEC. I don't want to see you succeed, especially if you end up playing against us.
But that just makes me think again that it's about playing that edge position. It's about being the edge guy. He wasn't going to be that here. James Pierce is going to be that guy here. And if he goes to Ohio State, if he goes to Georgia, if he goes to Alabama, not going to get that opportunity. But Coach Jay, if he goes to Missouri or if he goes to Ole Miss, then he probably has that potential to be that number one edge guy.
Yeah, I think he would. Something tells me he ends up in the Big 10 or the Big 12. I don't know what it is. Call it gut feeling, I suppose. But, maybe. We'll see. Like I said, I don't see him going to a rival like that. But you know what? If the business is right, I think it will continue to be a business decision for him. So we'll see. I think money will talk to a certain degree with him as well. He's got to get paid because there's no guarantee that he'll have success just because he leaves at that edge position either. I mean, if you aren't going to be, popping through as the number one edge team on Tennessee, then, it stands to reason that you might not make in the league either. So, it's probably about two things: wanting to showcase to try to get that NFL payday, and trying to get, that good NIL check as well. So we'll see what ends up happening with him. But either way, I don't see him coming back. I hope he does, but I don't see it.
Want to jump in and talk about the transfer portal. I don't know if anybody's gone in since the last live stream we did. I can't remember, but I want to kind of recap. See Papa J asking if Butch Jones has kidnapped the X Factor. Look,
Yes.
man, when we do streams talking recruiting or we do streams talking transfer portal, not everybody follows that. And if you don't follow it, I don't want you in here looking like a deer in headlights saying, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. So, I sent up the bat signal to these two dudes because they're, they ain't got a life, the same as I don't have a life. We are obsessed with it. JP's the same way. JP, he was stuck at work, so he couldn't jump on with us. But you got, dude, if we were laughing at the top of the stream, man, you have to be obsessed to be able to keep up with what's going on in the portal right now. And, the casual fan, and not to say the casual fan, just not somebody that's not going to chase down every lead, every big name that goes in the portal, right? Give me this guy. Give me the number one guy in the portal. Let's pay $5 million for this guy, for that guy. That's not realistic. That's just not the way the transfer portal is going to work. So let's take a look at this article from VolQuest and recap. This is not a paid article. It's free. You guys can go read it for free. That's the only reason that I share it, because it is a free article. It's the departures. Warren Burrell, he went off to Georgia Tech. Notice a theme here for where these guys end up. Georgia Tech. Maurice Clipper Jr., Charlotte. Was that a loss? Is it a loss if the best a guy can do is to go to Charlotte? No, I don't think that guy developed the way you wanted him to. Brandon Turnage, Jack Luttrell. Interesting thing about Jack Luttrell, I've heard it was about NIL money, which is weird to me that he would be asking for more NIL. Addison Nichols, Tyler Barron, Danico Slaughter, Deshaun Rucker, and Tamarian McDonald. So as we run through those names, we'll let Coach Jay kick this thing off. We go through that list. What are your main needs when you look at this roster for next year? When you look at the guys that are on the way out the door, what is it? 6 defensive backs, I think, at this point. What are your priority targets? And then we'll run through some names here coming up in just a minute. But if you're the coach, you're managing this roster. What are you looking to replace? What are you looking to fix in 2024?
I mean, we've all talked about it, right? You got to get a couple tight ends in here. I'm looking for one that can, split playing time, and then I'm looking for a depth piece as well, right? Because I feel good about the talent I have on campus. It's just thin, right? And I think Nico pairs with them well, so I think you're good there. At cornerback, and I'm probably looking for one stud at safety. And if I can find a really, really solid star, I'll take that as well. And I'd probably take one really, really strong wide receiver as well if I could get him. Even if Brew comes back, you have to question what kind of shape he'll be and how quick he can get ready. So I do think you need to be prepared for that contingency. Although I don't think the cupboard is bare at that position. I'm just saying I think I would try to, fatten your coffers, so to speak, at that position as much as I possibly could. I've seen some pretty good assets out there at that position. Oh, and even though we have it, I think you find a good D tackle if you can find one. A true disruptive D tackle. I feel good about the edge, but I'm taking a true game changer at D tackle if you can get him. I know every volunteer fan has the one that they want, but we'll see.
This is the same thing as the Coop and Spraggins thing. Like, nothing official's come out yet, but those announcements are coming. And Omar Norman Lott's back, and it sounds like Omari Thomas and Elijah Simmons are back. So you add one.
I thought Simmons was out of time.
No, I think he's got the COVID year. So
every single one of them could come back.
Okay.
The way that VolQuest acts is that all three of those guys are coming back.
Yeah,
so
that'd be
big
huge.
Elijah Simmons and Omar Norman Lott, all three come back. You add one more defensive tackle there. Rodney Garner's rotation is freaking set at defensive tackle. And I know, there's a lot of speculation. AP keeps saying he doesn't see Walter Nolan coming back. Basically, he doesn't vibe. He doesn't vibe with Rodney Garner. Look, it takes a special person to be able to play for Coach G. But then you got guys like Steve Wiltfong out there at 247 Sports acting like Tennessee is one of the teams to beat there. William Cantrell says Bryson Eason. Yeah, Bryson Eason's back. But I think you could upgrade from Eason. But he played some good ball last year. What about you, Coach Rice? When you look at the roster, and kind of not to hijack what you're going to say here, but when I look at the star position, I think right now you're probably going to pencil in Jordan Thomas, right? I think that's probably who's going to be penciled in at the star position. Think you can upgrade that in the portal? And then what's your primary targets for this football team?
Okay, so the star position. This is a position where you have to be athletic. You got to be willing to tackle. You got to be great when it comes to being around the ball. So it's a very important position for the defense. I mean, every position is important, but when you're involved in so many things that the star position is involved in, you need a playmaker there. So I'm not saying Jordan Thomas can't do it, because, I mean, we haven't seen much out of Jordan Thomas, and I think he's more athletic than what we've had there. I definitely think he's more athletic than Tamarion McDonald. When he came on campus, he was the guy as a freshman that, hey, this dude's going to be good, man. Give him a couple years to develop. He's got some speed. He's good in the box. So, part of it, do they switch him back to safety? I mean, that's something that they've talked about. So we'll see there. Guy that I think is, as far as freshman goes, someone that's going to come in and make an instant impact, that has a chance to, as a freshman, come in and play. Boo Carter, we've already talked about it. I think, that's one of the freshmen that out of that 24 class that I think could come in and make an instant impact. So, do we have to have a transfer there? I mean, if there was a stud out there that fits the mold, I would take him. But I think we're fine at star. I think with Jordan Thomas and the guys we got coming in, and who's to say? Part of me still thinks there's a 10% chance Wesley Walker's coming back, because if Brew comes back, what's that? With them being stepbrothers, does Wesley Walker consider coming back? So I know that's way up in there.
Isn't it Tyler Barron and Wesley Walker?
Oh, it's Tyler Barron? I thought it was Brew. Okay.
Which is why when Tyler Barron hit the portal, I thought Wesley Walker's done. He ain't coming back.
Okay. Well, yeah. If it's Tyler Barron, that makes sense. So, I don't see Wesley Walker coming back then. For some reason, part of me, I thought it was Brew. But, Tyler Barron makes sense there.
I don't think that story even came out until like midway through the year. I think when AP did the interview with him is when that story came out.
Yeah. But as far as pieces that we've all identified, the two main ones, secondary and tight end. I think you got to go get a safety, you got to go get a corner, and you got to get like Coach Jay said, one starting tight end or split time tight end with Ethan Davis, and then a depth piece. And then me personally, I would love to see a strong side defensive end, and then a offensive guard, an interior offensive lineman. I just think those are, as far as if you're placing them in order, you got tight end and secondary, and then I would say strong side defensive end, wide receiver, and then interior offensive line. And the receiver has to be an outside receiver.
So when people see all these kids going into the portal, good riddance, we don't need you, we don't want you. Tamarion McDonald played the star position. Brandon Turnage, a guy that I thought was going to thrive. When Theo Jackson went off to the NFL, I thought Brandon Turnage was going to be a dog. I thought he was, we talk about the star being the feature position in this defense. And is that part of the struggle with this defense, because we've not had that dog in the star position? I think it goes without saying that this coaching staff asked these guys to move on. I think they knew. Now, maybe Tamarion McDonald was asking for money. I've seen some of that out there. But as far as Brandon Turnage, move along. Warren Burrell, move along. They're trying to upgrade the secondary. Let me run down some of this. Man, there is so much going on in the portal. We're 50 minutes into this thing. We still got 450 people watching live. Do me a favor, guys. Smash the thumbs up. If it's not too late to hit the share button, we would appreciate it. If it's your first time here and you're like, man, I like this, for the fans, by the fans, just a bunch of regular dudes talking Tennessee football, think about hitting that join button down below. You can become a member of the channel for $1. You see all these people in the chat that have a Power T beside their name. You see their comments getting highlighted on the screen throughout the live stream. That's because they're members of the channel. You can support it by hitting that join button down below, and it's $1. The more you give, the more you get. You get custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, access to fan call-in shows. These two dudes right here came on fan call-in shows. They know the game of football. The chat, I always watch the chat. If you guys hadn't figured it out yet, when people come on this show on a fan call-in, I'm watching the chat. And if they want more of somebody, I want to bring that person back on. People love the X Factor. The X Factor, unfortunately, doesn't follow the transfer portal or recruiting. So we'll get him back on here once we get near the bowl game. Tim Rice letting everybody know, I've been a member for 9 months. Tim's about to give birth to his Talkin VAWLS baby. Been a member for 9 months. We appreciate that support, brother. Let me hit some super chats real quick, and then I want to talk about some visits. Big Orange Mountain for 5. Maybe he goes to Bama and then pay the refs to make the calls go his way for once. He's talking about Tyler Barron. I thought that was one of the best responses to Barron entering the portal was he should go to Alabama. That way he doesn't get held. Fido Productions for 5. Gentlemen on another Vol channel. No free promo. That's a dude right there. That's a dude. I appreciate that. Believes that if Nico doesn't win the Heisman next year, then we need to question Heupel. Comical. Okay, now I almost want you to say their name. Like, what? If Nico doesn't win the Heisman, then we got to question Heupel. Like, I hope Nico wins a Heisman.
I think I knew who it was, but I'm not going
to. I know who it was.
Was it Blue Chip Breakdown? Was it Blue Chip Breakdown?
No.
Sports Talk Jay?
I'm not going to call him out.
Wait a minute. He's talking about Jay. What are you doing, bro? I thought you were talking about Michigan. Are you coming back to the Tennessee faithful? Is Sports Talk Jay out there saying we got to question Heupel? Is that who it was, really? Come on, Jay. You're better than that. No way. I said in a video this morning, I don't think the goal is for Nico to come win a Heisman in 2024. I think the goal is continue moving this team forward and then go win a Heisman in 2025. Now, could he win it? Hell, I don't know. I hope Nico is who we think that he is, right? Because if he's not, we're in freaking trouble, boys. If Nico's not the guy that we spent $8 million, was it worth $8 million? Guess what? If he goes and wins a Heisman, if Tennessee wins an SEC championship, Nico was worth $8 million. He's worth every penny. I'm gonna have to text Sports Talk Jay as soon as we go off.
It wasn't Jay though, was it, Rice? I don't think it.
No, Jenny says it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Oh, come on. Put Dave Hooker on blast. Yeah, Dave Hooker out there watching.
I didn't want to say it, but I was. In fairness, Sports Talk Jay has been on the Nico train, to him. I listen.
Everybody knows who it was. That's everybody in the chat saying it, and it's hilarious. Because how long has Dave Hooker been doing media? How long has he been on the radio?
Forever.
Yeah, forever? And he's watching me sit in my basement surrounded by video games and toys and comic books. And he's like, oh, I got to start making videos and putting thumbnails on them. You're welcome, Dave. You're welcome. Sorry. Rant over. Rant over. Oh, gosh. That is hilarious. Greg J says it wasn't Dave. It was his partner, Caleb. I don't know.
It was on the show. Yeah, it was on the show.
Yeah, don't hate on Dave Hooker for something that'd be like y'all freaking coming on here and crucifying Coach Jay for something I said. Like, put the dude that said it on blast. I apologize, Dave. I know you're listening and trying to figure out how to run your YouTube channel, so I apologize, brother. I'm just kidding. Guys, jokes. Don't everybody go to Twitter and start tagging people and say, you won't believe what Boogie Bentley said about you tonight. Lord have mercy. I've got the whole internet hating me, but that's what I do. Let me catch back up. Randall Perry for 5. I'm ready for 2024. Really glad I found your show. Boogie, enjoy your videos and the content. I appreciate that, Randall, man. It's the community that makes it for me, man. I love this community. I love you guys. I love everybody that comes on here and talks ball. I love the fan call-in shows. I love that Jenny came on the other night, represented the women, man. Came on here and held her own, told some fun stories. Good times, man. Good times. We got to do another fan call-in show soon. Maybe we'll do one Sunday. I don't know. We'll see. Hot Rod becomes a member of the channel. I appreciate that. I think Hot Rod's been a member before. Are you upgrading? Hot Rod might be upgrading, but we appreciate the support. Brother Lance for 5 says, is it a possibility that all the DBs are leaving because Martinez might be gone? You may have just popped in. We talked about this a little bit earlier. All signs indicate to Willie Martinez being back for 2024. I don't think we're going to see any coaching turnover. For me, that's a good thing, man, especially Tim Banks. I did not want to see Tim Banks leave going into 2024. Fido for 2 Says, give me the green light. I'll say it. Well, the chat beat you to it, brother. We know they have been put on blast. Hunter for 2. Any shot at the left tackle, Overton or Walter Nolan? Who's
LT
Overton?
It's LT
Overton's-
Overton.
Who is that?
Transfer from Texas A&M as well.
He's
You got to watch. Let me guess. Syracuse. Let me guess.
Yeah, Syracuse, and he's going to visit Bama this weekend. So
yeah.
I don't think Walter Nolan's coming here. And me and Coach Rice were talking right before we went live about the other kid from Texas A&M. It's that they're following their position coach, right? And he's the defensive coordinator there. And I think I read that he was the number 1 recruiter from last cycle. Of course, you're talking about that Texas A&M money. And he's got somebody on his staff that maybe came there from Georgia. I'm winging this. I don't have any of this on the top of my brain. I think I've got COVID. I've got brain fog.
Well,
does he have somebody on?
Fran Brown was the Georgia D-line coach, and he's the head coach there now.
And I think he was the number 2 recruiter last cycle.
Yeah, and then the Texas A&M D-line coach is now the D coordinator at Syracuse.
So there you go. So that's why you're seeing so many of these Texas A&M kids end up there. And, even the kid in the class of 24 that Tennessee's working their way into, I am encouraged by the fact that they got him. McKinney, is that his name? McKinney?
Yeah, McKinley. Yeah.
I like the fact that he's pushing it off till February, so Tennessee's going to have a shot to kind of try to weasel their way in there, but it's going to boil down to, can they get him on campus, right? They made that push. He's going to hold off, but would not be surprised at all to see that kid end up at Syracuse as well. Bleed Orange for $20. That ain't cheap. That's an Orange Boy. We'll do it.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Bleed Orange says, Rocky Top, you'll always be. Here's an Orange Boy. I think the coaches like the young guns in the back end, and we end up with some portal studs. What's up, Coach J, Coach R, and Boogie? I'm a coach on the NCAA. I'm a coach on Tuesday nights. Can I be Coach Boogie? I don't want to be a coach. God bless America.
Do it, Boogie. Do it.
I admire you guys for what
you
you do.
Power. Anyone who calls power is good with me.
I only call power when you tell me to call power. But I appreciate what you guys do, because I had so many coaches in my life, man, that made an impact, right? They made it different. You remember the good ones. The good ones stand out to you. And when you have, and Rodney Garner's talked about this as a coach, he doesn't want to go to the NFL because he talks about at the college level, and I think it's even more important at the high school level. You can change a kid's life, right? You are developing young men. So little shout out, little praise for Coach Rice and Coach Jay for what you guys do. I admire you guys for doing what you do. Papa J for 5. Why did the what?
Wait, what? What just happened?
What,
Jay?
what?
We barely survived last night.
Oh.
We barely survived last night. I can't read that, Papa J.
Them there hills.
Cancel culture.
Come on, bro. Good old Nate Pruitt for 5. Cover charge Boogie. God bless and go Vols. What about the All-American coming in? Is he talking about the Georgia kid? That ain't happening. That ain't happening, but it was a fun story. I got roasted for that. Clickbait. All you post is clickbait. I know. Man's got to make a living. Let's talk about some of these portal kids. We're almost an hour into the show. This was the main event. I spent 2 hours taking notes on portal kids. Let's talk about visits right out of the gate. We kind of talked about our priorities. I had that in my notes at this point, but we've already kind of touched on that. Here is what's going on visit-wise. Tight end position. Holden Stace, the kid from Notre Dame, visited last weekend. Jordan Dingle, this coaching staff went in-home for a visit. Now he's scheduled to visit this upcoming weekend. Bauer Sharp, the kid from Southeast Louisiana, also visiting this weekend. Jalen Farmer is one that popped up. Offensive guard from Florida is visiting today. Chris Brazel, the kid from Tulane, depending on where you look, he's 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". He might be 7'2" by the time he gets on campus. He visited this week. Is it Gerard McCoy from Oregon State? Gerard from Oregon State. He's the one that I missed this morning, man. That news came out 3 minutes after I posted my video. He's one to get excited about. He's visiting today. Also saw, just confirmed while we were live, the Villanova defensive back that I talked about this morning, Devin Marshall, is going to be in town on Friday for an official visit. So, Coach Jay, I don't know how much you've dove into the transfer portal, but I would imagine enough to hold your own. Which one of these kids? You take it however you want to take it. You take a position, you do whatever you want to do. Which one of these kids stick out to you and excites you?
I mean, a couple of them do. got on one of them a second ago with Jamal McCoy. I really like that kid. I think he could be a solid kid. I like Stace. I like the Notre Dame kid a whole heck of a lot. The A&M kid we talked about, not Walter Nolan. The other one I think could be really good. But we'll see. And I like the Southeast Louisiana kid a lot. I like the Rhode Island kid. I don't know. Is he still an option? The kid from Rhode Island, or is he already
I heard he canceled his visit.
Okay. What about
the Rhode Island kid? Did
yeah
the receiver from Tulane? Is he? It all moves so fast. Sometimes.
That's the one that I mentioned. That's going to be. He actually visited this week, so he's already been on his visit.
He's making visits to Utah and Washington.
Right.
Rest of this week.
He could be a really interesting kid. He's got a lot of talent, and I know he was around Nico quite a lot in passing leagues, and has seen Nico up close and has spoken highly of him. When I kind of mentioned going after another dog at the wide receiver position, he in particular was who I had in mind. He could be really, really solid for us. The Florida guard could end up being a really good pickup for us too. Right, we still could use another good guard, if for nothing else for depth, but also, if he could go out there and beat what we got, we certainly could take him. And it kind of plays well that Mincy's sitting there and can kind of walk him through what that process coming from the Gators to a real football program is like. So I think it could go really well.
I saw that too. Jacoby Thomas, I saw that.
Mm-hmm. So my emphasis is on a little more strength in the DBs and the tight end. So, I think Stace, the Southeast Louisiana kid, and the Oregon State kid are kind of at the top of my boat right now. But the best overall, I think it's that Tulane kid. I love that kid's film. He's an absolute beast. I feel like we offered a kid from Central Michigan recently as well.
Yeah, safety Trey Jones.
Yeah, so he's got a really nice game when you watch him, and he's all over the field. I think he could be a really interesting one and one to keep an eye on. And I will come back with one message, and I talked about it last time I was on here. But when we talk about a Villanova DB or whatever DB, and someone gets down on them, just watch any Monday night football game and listen to where these guys announce that they're from. They are from everywhere. If you can play ball, if you can pick them up and put them down and put your cleats in the dirt, they're going to find you and they're going to put you on that field. And if the Volunteers have the ability to do the same thing the NFL does, we 100% should be doing that and trusting our evaluations.
Wait, what'd you say about cleats?
Get our cleats in the dirt, grass, dirt, something.
Just making sure that the little things are taken care of, like getting our cleats in the dirt and just playing.
What we have to do is make sure that we got our cleats in the ground before the ball is snapped. I think that's the key to the game, and make sure that
just get our cleats in the ground, execute calls, the urgency of communicating and getting lined up.
Yeah, you got to get your cleats in the ground and you got to go play.
I'm totally adding Coach Jay to the end of that. You got to get your cleats in the ground.
Oh yeah, guys.
Something. I'm glad you brought up the point, because every time I make a video on some of these portal guys, I get roasted. Oh, here we go, 3-star U, 2-star U. Something that stuck out to me in the two kids I talked about this morning, and I don't even think they're the best. I think Coach Rice, you mentioned the kid from Mississippi State right before we went live, and then obviously the kid from Oregon State are pretty high up the board as well. But I like the kid from Villanova, and I like the kid from Idaho, Marcus Harris. I read an article on him, and just talking about pass breakups, right? Not passes defended, not being in coverage, not being in the area if it's an overthrow, if it's a dropped pass. No, it's pass breakups. You are making a play on the football. Devin Marshall had 13 of those this past season. The kid Marcus Harris from Idaho, I think, I'm trying to go look. Yeah, set the program record in his time at Idaho as a junior, 36 pass breakups in his career. That's kids that are making plays. And I can't remember, somebody might have said it in a comment, that they think that this coaching staff is looking for dudes that can play out there on an island, lock down, play man coverage, and let this defense be what it's supposed to be. And I don't think, going all the way back to the top of this video. I don't think they had the personnel to do that, and I think that's what they're looking for in the transfer portal. But, man, I like both of those kids I watched this morning. And I think when you look at this coaching staff and who they brought in via the portal, everybody they brought in has pretty much contributed. Like, maybe a handful of kids haven't contributed that they brought in through the portal. For the most part, they've hit on some of these kids. McAllen Castles, I'm the first one to get on here and go, UC Davis? Who the heck is McAllen Castles? Look what he did for this offense this past season. Hendon Hooker, I know that wasn't Josh Heupel's guy. I know Jeremy Pruitt brought him in, but when Hendon Hooker came here, nobody was saying, oh, he's going to come ball out. No, they were laughing. They were laughing, saying, yeah, he sucks. Good luck. Good luck with him. Mm-hmm. I think this coaching staff has done a great job getting some of these kids from smaller schools, calling them up to the big leagues, and then seeing that translate to success.
Can we really think of a big miss? I mean, not of the little kids, of the, the walk-ons that got a scholarship, but can we really think of a miss? I mean, the one that comes to mind, I guess, is Thornton, but time is kind of proving the coaching staff wise there, and he was time coming on, and time might prove them even wiser still. So we'll see.
I'm waiting on the chat. I'm waiting on the chat to put a name that missed. Like you can say Andre Turrentine, he still has an opportunity to contribute this year. I think he. Hey, guess what? Get ready. Next man up. It's your opportunity. Spring camp's going to be fun, man. Spring camp is going to be fun. Clearing out all these DBs that we've been critical of. Well, I forget what the number was. I've said it all week, like 70-something in pass defense.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. So I don't know, man. I'm excited about some turnover in the secondary. I'm waiting. Dim Barnyard Bill says Andrej Carrick. I think he played better than some people think. I really do. And, I know they're trying to add a body at guard. I think he's going to probably be your starter at guard in 2024. I don't think he was a miss.
I think he was just coming into the program. Was he there into the spring? Did he come in during the spring?
I can't remember. If he was spring or after spring.
Either way, I know for sure he was hurt during that first part. And so, Josh Heupel's system, I mean, it's a new system. He's coming in. He came in from Texas. It's a completely different system. Mm-hmm. Offensive line is, I would say, probably the toughest thing to pick up other than quarterback, because you just have to learn so much as a quarterback, is learning a new system and being confident in what you're doing in that system. It's not only one thing to learn it, but you to be confident in it, and sometimes it just takes some time. And we saw some positive things from Carrick, but I mean, not everybody is freaking Trey Smith, so give him some time, let him develop, and we'll see where we are come 2024 with him. So one thing I will say about the DBs that we've targeted, and that's even before the guys that we kind of targeted today, the Rhode Island guy, the Villanova guy, the Idaho guy, guys, ballers are ballers. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Playmakers are playmakers. That translates wherever you go. If you're a dog, you got that in you, and that translates wherever you go. You got confidence. You can make plays on the ball, and that goes with any position, not just DB. So, sleep on those guys. They want you to sleep on them. Keeps a little chip on their shoulder, and that makes them go out and work their tails even harder. So, Tennessee fans keep saying, hey, you can't I go and tell you, that just makes them that much work, that much harder going in to come springtime.
That's a good answer right there. Juwan Mitchell was
definitely I'll take that. I'll accept that answer.
And I think he's played at 17 schools in 4 years.
He's in Colorado now, though.
Dude, how many? Honestly, I don't remember. He left Tennessee. Did he go to Arizona? And Arizona then to Colorado? State. Arizona State, then Colorado. Isn't it crazy? You got kids out here begging to get waivers, and you got Juwan Mitchell that's played for 17 different schools. Like, the NCAA is a joke, man. Absolute joke.
I think that dude had skill. He's just so messed up in the head
not dialed
in. Like, I think they saw some skill coming out of Texas. That's why we recruited him to come to Tennessee. We just made a bad evaluation on his character.
Yeah. When you talk about the transfer portal, that's a big part of it too. We can overlook that, right? We just want dudes that can play. We want dogs. We want ballers. We don't care about the culture, the locker room, the chemistry. It's like just bring in dudes that can play football. Coach Eibel's trying to keep this locker room chemistry intact, and that's a big part of what he is trying to do. I highlighted your comment, Buck. What are you talking about? I highlighted when you were the one that said Thornton, I highlighted it. But I will disagree with you. I'm not ready to say he's a bust. I think when he moved to the outside, we saw him making some plays. We started to come along. My fear is, though, that in 2024 he's going to be moved back to the slot. But Mike Matthews is a slot guy. So you've got is Braylon Staley a slot guy too?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't
think he does move back to the slot after they've seen what they saw out of Thornton. Because you've got slots, you got Matthews, you've got Squirrel. You really, with Staley too, you really don't need another slot there. You're really quite fine, to be honest, in that position. And not only that, I think they're going to be popping Cam Seldon out too into the slot and kind of doubling up on the position in that way. I think that you're going to certainly see that. I know that on a couple other channels they were talking about, wait for it, you're going to see that in this bowl game because Cam Seldon's going to get run. I kind of disagreed. I think they're going to wait for next season before they pull that little card out of their hat. If I were coaching, I would certainly keep that under my hat for a minute and keep it close to my vest and break it out, when I wanted to expose somebody.
Let's just do it now. I'm gonna leave those. There's a couple of good super chats. We'll get to them in a minute. But while you're talking about this, I want to bring up some fun speculation. Let's just pretend that the Nico era starts in the Citrus Bowl. You got extra time to prepare, right? Bowl practice starts on Saturday, I think. You got extra time to prepare. Let's say the announcement comes out tomorrow. Joe Milton is opting out. Nico Iamaleava steps in. Coach Rice, you're the offensive coach, so I'll throw it to you first. You changing the offense? You changing the scheme for Nico, or are you running the offense that you've run all year and keeping things simple? Keep it simple, stupid. Or are you gonna open it up and let Nico go throw the rock around?
Unfortunately, and I'm gonna get some hate on this. They're not gonna throw everything out there. They just don't want to kind of show. I think we can beat Iowa with doing with what we've done all year, honestly. But I don't think they want to show Nico's full cup of tea. That I think they'll do a couple things here and there that fits Nico's strengths, but I think they keep close to them out the same game plan. But with different toys, you have to do different things. So we're gonna have to kind of see where we are at as far as health wise, at wide receiver, where we are as far as running back go. I know D Sampson's going to get tons of touches. I think Seldon will get some at running back. I'm with you, Coach Jay. I don't think they show everything that they're going to do with Seldon come August 31st next year. So we'll see, but I think they hold a little bit back from what we know Nico can do, but at the same time, what's that? What's that
coming
noise?
To arrest Coach Jay. He caused the accident.
Oh, I didn't know what that was, but Nico. I still think he's going to throw for if he gets the start and Joe opts out. I still think Nico's going to throw for 300 yards, and I don't even think it'll be close.
Be the best thing ever for this YouTube channel is for Nico to come in, start the bowl game, ball out, and then we get to talk about 2024 all off season. What are your thoughts, Coach? I don't think Joe's opting out, but I thought it would be a fun little speculation question.
I kind of agree. It's a great speculation question. I agree with what Jeannie was saying. I mean, it's Orlando. It's his hometown. You would think that he's going to play, but if Nico is playing in that game, I think Coach Rice touched on a point with Iowa. Tennessee's defense should be able to corral them just fine, even with the young corners, and be able to deal with that. And you don't need to whip out an F-22 Raptor when you can shoot someone with a rifle. You know what I mean? So I fully expect them to do that. But, I do think to an extent they'll run their base offense, and their base offense has some big plays built into it that are naturally there. And, if Nico has a full game to do it and he catches one-on-one coverage, his favorite thing to do is throw the seam. And make no mistake, if he gets that one-on-one, he's going to let one fly.
I can't wait to see Ethan Davis up the seam. And
That'd
Nico
be great.
hitting him. I cannot wait to see that. All right, let me catch up on some super chats here. Timothy McGee for 2 says, "Hey, I'm back. Had to get dinner." Well, you left out the most important thing. What'd you eat for dinner? That's what we really want to know, Timothy. Did you eat a timing route for dinner? I bet that's what you had for dinner. Appreciate the super chat, brother Chase Simmons for 5. Coach Jay, Coach Rice. Well, should I just see myself out? I'll let you guys answer this. How are we feeling with the secondary this upcoming season? Worried or confident? I personally think we take a step forward. It's an overhaul in the secondary. You didn't ask me, so I'm not going to answer. Coach Rice, what do you think?
I'm going to let Coach Jay go first. He's the D coordinator. I'll step in with whatever he's got.
Oh, you're going to let him answer for both of us. I don't have a voice. You gave yours away. All right, Coach. It's your show, Coach Jay. Take it away.
I think they take a step forward. I think they've recruited a step forward. So I think they certainly take a step forward. I just think those corners are 10 times as fast and athletic and are going to be a lot more apt to playing press. I mean, even Ricky Gibson, you saw it in his limited time, played double the amount of press that they played with anyone else. You could just see the difference in comfort with him playing in that press. They are really good at playing in the pocket. Shameless plug here. Go back and maybe watch one of the film breakdowns where we go over any of those 3 guys, and you'll notice a similar concept with all of them is they like to play in the pocket. They like to play tight. They are very apt to doing so. So I think that you're going to see that quite a bit moving forward, and I think that opens up Tim Banks' defense nicely to be a little more aggressive. And I think when you couple that all together with those linebackers getting a little more hair on their chin and being in there a little bit longer as well, you're not going to be able to burn them for that easy stuff, those bailout routes. It's like, hey, I know Tim Banks is going to blitz me, so I'm going to run this little bailout route and exploit, herring over the middle or something like that by putting them in conflict with double crossing routes over the middle. I don't think that's going to fly this coming season.
I think we actually did a live stream of all 3. I think we did Jordan Matthews versus Ricky Gibson versus Christian Conyer. I think it was all big one live stream. So go back and give that a watch if you want to see what Coach Jay thinks about the 3 corners that are left in that room and coming back. Athleticism is the word that everybody says. Go ahead, Coach Rice.
Yes, athleticism and being physical. Those guys, when we saw them coming out of high school, they were all, like Coach Jay said, like to be in phase with the wide receiver. They all like to be up in their face, tell them, hey, you ain't getting off the line with that, easy getting into your route on time. That's the whole thing with how these quarterbacks and wide receivers have success. They're all about timing, y'all. Going back to Timothy McGee's timing routes.
There you go.
Yeah, it's all about timing. They and if you throw them off just a little bit, that gives our boy James Pierce more time to get to the quarterback. It gives our DBs chance to be more aggressive when that awesome front 7 gets after the quarterback, and they can make plays on the ball. That's why we're going after these playmakers. That's why we got playmakers as freshmen and playmakers that are coming in set to be true freshmen. And that's why a couple of these guys, I mean, pretty much every guy we're looking at in the portal are playmakers. That's what they do. They make plays on the ball, and they're in spots where they can do that. They're not 10 yards off playing cover 4 zone or cover 3, giving the wide receivers whatever they want short. That's why Florida destroyed us. That's why Missouri got us with all these short routes and intermediate routes where they're timing, and those were the games where we weren't getting after the quarterback. So you see what, it plays both ways, and I think we'll be a whole lot better. And like I said, I personally, And I told Boogie this the other day on tweet. I'm calling it right now. Boo Carter's going to be your starting star. I'm calling it right now. Boo Carter's going to be your starting star next year.
I'm not going to fight you on that, Coach Rice. I think you might be right about that. I really do. He's just got all those tools that you need for that position. And, you know, not to get back on that train and get us all yelled at, but he's got all the tools you need that can make up for some of those freshman mistakes you make in that star position, that safety position, that corner position. And I'm not calling him Eric because Eric was extraordinary special and exceedingly special, but he's got some of those tools that Eric has that allows you to do those kind of things. And beyond that, we'll see what kind of player he develops into. He is different in ways and will be his own player in his own right.
Yeah,
so not a direct comparison, just a
correlation.
Some tools in the toolbox, if you will. Yeah.
Let me get a couple more super chats real quick. Timothy McGee with another 5 says, no, Coach Jay. No, Coach, you're wrong. You're wrong, Coach Jay. We need to whip the A10 and do more timing routes, less option routes. I love that Timothy supports his channel by talking about, and the best part about it is it's all a bit. It's not even real. He admitted that the other day. He said, it's not even real, Boogie. I just say it every single live stream. Fido Productions drops a 20 spot. That's Orange Boy. You know what we do for Orange Boys. We play the clip if I can find it. I got lost because I had to go play the cleats in the ground. There's clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
I love that you guys pay to ask other people questions, and I'll sit back and watch. Q&A for Coach Jay. Y'all want to just do a Q&A live stream? We can do that. I'll make Coach answer questions all night. I believe in Nico like everyone else, but you, sir, have put him on a higher level than anyone else. God forbid. If he comes out and doesn't perform to the level you put him at, are you ready for the backlash? Much love. Coach, you've been saying this for weeks.
Heck yes. Give it. I'll take it, man. Hey, look, I trust my evaluations, man. Like that's just it, right? I've been around a good amount of kids who have gone on and done great things. And I'll tell you what, though, you're right about some of them and you're wrong about some of them, right? But, you know, some of them you're like, if this falls in a line, this works out, you know, this, that, and the other happens. Great. You know, he needs to catch a break here, or, oh, he needs to work on this part of his game and do this little thing. Nico is one of, I'm going to call it 3 quarterbacks out of like 10 I've been around that have kind of, you know, played in college and had some level of success. And of those 10, I think there's only been 3. I've been really convinced that, you know, they're going to be an absolute stud at the college level, maybe go win a Heisman and, you know, maybe do really great things in the NFL. One of them was number 1 pick in the draft last year and won a Heisman Trophy that I was very close to. The other one's Nico. The other was a kid way back in the day that played for Florida State and briefly in the NFL named Chris Ricks. And he was probably the one I thought most highly of all the 3. And for as high as I thought of him, I actually kind of think he was a bust. It's hard to call someone who made it to the NFL and played under Bowden and was that good a bust. But I guess if, you know, based on what I thought he was going to do, I guess you could go ahead and use that terminology. But, you know, look, it looks like a duck, acts like a duck, walks like a duck. And I certainly trust and love the coaching tree I'm from and trust and value their positions as well. And willing to die on that hill when you learn to love other coaches and you learn to become part of a team. You fight for those guys and you go to battle anywhere with them, as I'm sure Coach Rice will tell you. And I'd be proud to be wrong standing side by side with those guys.
Hunter for 2 says, is 2024 10+ regular season wins or bust? I'm not ready to say that, but it's so hard, man, because it all depends on how.
I'll say 9.
I say 9.
I say if it's 8, it's a bust of a year.
Yeah.
And I know that's a lot of pressure to put on a quote unquote freshman quarterback.
Nobody has more pressure than he's got. Nobody.
No. But I will go ahead and say that. Like there is going to be difficult games. Like I said, I think that NC State game is sneaky. There are trap spots in there, and there's still many slip between the cup and the lip with the transfer portal and NIL and all that stuff. So some stuff still has to shake out. And injuries, of course, once again, guys, injuries. What's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Do you lose Cade Mays in the NC State game? And then after you lose Cade, do you lose his backup? How does it go? You know, how ugly can it get? What did I miss a joke?
Because you always call Cooper Cade.
Oh shit!
Always, every time we're talking about Cooper.
I'm busted. Yeah,
every time.
I don't know why. My mind goes right to it for some reason. That's funny. All right. Well,
I'm
going to tap myself.
You can get yourself canceled and call him something else like I call you.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Hey, everything that Coach Jay just said, I agree. I think if you don't get it's 9 or more. If you get 8, it's a bust of a season. A lot of it correlates with injuries. And then, you know, is there another Missouri out there? I mean, we don't know. You have to go play the games. And I think we have the pieces to go. I called it before pregame. I mean, before pre-show, I said 11-1. I think I said at the beginning of the show too that the difference in Oklahoma, they're losing. They've lost every single starting offensive lineman they've had this year, whether it be the transfer portal or graduation. And then on top of that, you have the way the schedule laid out. I like the way our schedule is for us to go 11-1. Am I saying that's the ceiling? No, I think undefeated is the ceiling, but I also think the floor for us should be 9-3. I think if it's lower than 9-3, it's a bust of a season, and something went wrong.
Go ahead.
For $2 says I say from 8 to 11 wins is better than 500. Go ahead, Coach.
No, I was just going to say that if they did go undefeated next year, and Nico won the Heisman and All Stars did a line, right? Then we are going to have a Coach J emoji is the smartest man alive T-shirt, and you all have to buy one.
Wait a minute, who gets the profits of that though?
You can have it, Boogie. I just
want to
see the folks in the shirt.
Everybody's got to buy one.
All right, guys, you got that undefeated Nico Heisman. Everyone buying a shirt.
Everybody's got to buy one. Heaven for Two says Mizzou got a cake schedule. Look, for me, man, it's college football playoff or bust. Nope. No soft talk about injuries. No soft talk about the secondary. If Nico can't go win 10 games and get Tennessee to a college football playoff, we're screwed. You've got to move forward. I think it's college football playoff or bust. And maybe that's bold. Maybe that's arrogant. Maybe that's, this guy's an idiot. I think this football, if Coach Hype's going to be the guy, I think you got to go win 10 games, and you've got to get into that college football playoff, and you got to be able to show people that Nico's that guy. Guess what? We won in spite of injuries. You want to keep Florida State out of the college football playoff because their quarterback's hurt? Guess what? They won in spite of injuries. And if Nico is him, if Nico is that guy, no excuses, man. He's got to go win. And I think we've seen the Nico effect in recruiting, but I don't think we've seen it as much as I hoped that we would see it. But I think now, if he goes out in 2024 and he balls out and they get to the college football playoff, they win 10 games, I think the class of 25 is going to be special. There's a lot of big-time talent that Tennessee's in on. I'm sick and tired of being the bridesmaid. Time to be the bride, time to get married, and then the next thing you know, you'll be like whoever it was in the chat that's about to give birth to a Talkin VAWLS baby. We're an hour and a half into this thing. I'm talking about childbirth. We got to wrap this thing up. I love jumping on here talking ball with these guys, man. I love this community. I love whether it's these guys, the X Factor, Dauber, whoever comes on this channel, man. It's always a good time talking Tennessee football with you guys in the chat. If you haven't done so yet, smash a thumbs up on the way out the door. Join the channel. support this channel, $1. You got $1 in your pocket, you want to support the channel, hit that join button down below. Keep those intact throughout the offseason. We need you guys. We need you guys. The Boogie Bentley family needs you guys. We couldn't do this without you. I'm grateful for you guys. Maybe we'll do a fan call-in show. I'm not sure.
Do it.
Maybe we'll do one Sunday. I got to look at the schedule. I will let you guys know. Probably won't be a video in the morning. I got to shuttle kids all around the state of Tennessee. Timothy for 5 says, Boogie he hasn't played in meaningful game. No pressure. Nope. I disagree, Timothy. I don't think anybody in the country in 2024 has more pressure on them than Nico Iamaleava because of the way the fan base has talked about him, the way that the media has talked about him, the hype, the expectation. I think he's got more pressure than anybody else in the country. But that's going to do it for this, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, probably no video in the morning. May drop one tomorrow afternoon, maybe around lunchtime if I don't die from COVID. We'll see what happens. I feel pretty good. I think I'll be all right. But for Coach Rice, for Coach Jay, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and